Hey everyone, Jamie Star here. I want to cover this video I came across of Sarah Silverman endorsing Bernie Sanders. First off, I'm not a fan of Sarah Silverman. I don't find her funny, and I think it's, when she has done so many jokes, if you can call them that are just like Christian bashing, and her being a feminist and all of that. If anyone made jokes like she does about Jews, people would be up in arms. They definitely wouldn't be working in Hollywood. And one of the things, Bernie Sanders is getting lots of Hollywood support because they're all liberals, of course. And I don't necessarily think Sanders is going to win. I'm going to do a video on one of my ideas of what's going on with the election, between them sort of taunting the idea of stealing it from both Trump and Sanders. I think the controllers, if they could, they're going to steal it from both of them, and then rather have both of the groups angry at the system for stealing it, they're going to try to pit them against each other, and then we sort of have this prophetic civil war going on. But Hollywood been endorsing Bernie Sanders, and I think he plays a very integral part in all of this, because he essentially is moving the Overton window of acceptable ideas and everything more and more socialist slash communist. Now, people want to argue the semantics all day long, but if between socialist and democratic socialist and communist and whatever, it's all centralized control systems. And if you look into a lot of the more famous socialists of the past, they openly say, it is communism. We just use the phrase socialism as a sort of front for it, because communism has such a bad rap that, we have to package it this way. And it's all branding. That's all it is. It's just, like I said, labels and semantics. So let's get into Sarah Silverman's endorsement of Bernie Sanders.
Beautiful, it's Sarah. Look at this, another election.
Guys, see, my skin crawls with, hey beautiful, it's Sarah. So obnoxious. And condescending. That's the other thing. She's generally condescending, but it's because she's a feminist and a liberal.
Can you believe it? A lot of people urge you to vote. That's not what this video is. If you vote or not, that's not my business. I'm not your mommy. Though, like your mommy, I have a completely full bush. Anyway, this video is for those of you who are thinking of voting. It's important that you treat your vote as something valuable, because it is. It's so valuable. Candidates literally spend billions of dollars trying to get your vote. Hillary had always been my choice. I'm a feminist. Democratic woman president? Yes, please. But she takes a lot.
See, that's all it is for her. It's vagina, support vagina. Vagina, vagina, support vagina. Vagina, vagina.
Of money from big corporations and banks, the very people she says she's going to stand up to. And look, I accept.
Is Sarah Silverman a big corporation? That's the other thing, that I feel like there's a big disconnect with everyone, where it's like, unions, which I'll bring this point back up. Unions can donate tons of money and they're okay. Corporations are evil, and celebrities can make millions, but they're never viewed as evil, even though they have far more influence over the masses than corporations. Corporations tend to hire celebrities to sell their products. So it's so odd to me that, the corporations are the ones that are big and evil and get the bad rap, and not the celebrities that personalize things and then use their status to sell products on behalf of the corporations. Like, everyone loves Apple. Apple is oh so liberal. Oh, Tim Cook, LGBT. Don't worry about the suicide nets. Don't worry about the sweatshops. Don't worry about the slave labor. Just, we support gay rights. Apple, so friendly, so trendy. Don't worry about what goes on in China, though. And that's, again, this disconnect where it's like, oh, we need to equality, treat everyone good, care about everyone, but not the people who make all the shit you love to buy. Oh, the corporations.
I did it because I saw it as a necessary evil, as the way it is. Every politician takes money from big money.
See, and here's another problem, Sarah. If it's a necessary evil, how about you just don't vote? That's what I did last time. I saw it as a choosing of the evils, and I said, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out because I don't want to feel responsible for what goes on, because I was a fucking crazy liberal and voted for Obama last time on the feel-good of it all. You know, oh yeah, black president. You know, same thing as her with Hillary. Oh, vagina president. Black president. Yay, let's make some change. Change we can believe in. And then I saw what went on, and I said, wow, this is no different whatsoever. This is a continuation of all the same shit. The train is on the same track, going the same direction. And then I said, you know what? I'm over this voting thing. I'm going to sit this out because I don't want to feel responsible. And, you know, all these people who have this talking point, oh, well, if you don't vote, then you can't complain. No, if you vote, then you can't complain because you voted for it. You asked for it. You chose it. I didn't choose it. I can complain all I want because I said I want no part of this. And then I get dragged into it. See, I didn't vote for Obama, but I'm going to get a fine if I don't get Obamacare. I think I'm allowed to complain about that.
Money ever since it was made legal with Citizens United. It's not right, but it's legal. It's legalized corruption. If all the ball players are taking steroids, then you have to take steroids too to compete, right? I'm not against Hillary.
Again, notice that sort of mindset where, you know, if everyone's doing it, then you should do it too. I mean, and that's why our society is so fucked up. These very mentalities that she's like perpetuating, being like, well, this is the way it should be. If everyone's taking steroids, you should take steroids. If everyone's fucking jumping off the bridge, then you should probably jump with them.
I met someone I have more in common with, and his name is Bernie Sanders.
Really? Let me guess. You lived on welfare most of your life? You've never had a job? What part of, oh, you're both Jewish. That must be it. Because, I mean, that's probably the only common denominator between fucking Sarah Silverman and Bernie Sanders. Oh, and probably the smut porn. Bernie Sanders used to write smut porn talking about how women fantasized about being gang raped. So, Sarah Silverman probably fantasizes about being gang raped. So those must be the common factors right there.
Bernie Sanders is this senator from Vermont who miraculously has not and will not take money from super PACs, where all the other
but he will take it from unions.
Candidates are getting gigantic sums of money from billionaires in an unspoken but inevitable exchange for favors and influence over policy.
Oh, and unions give their money and don't expect favors and influence over policy? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just ignoring the fact that he does get donations whatsoever that from organized groups wanting laws written in their favor? Are we being selective? Oh yeah, only the corporations are evil. Celebrities are little angels, unions are little angels, only corporations. Interesting point here. On your driver's license, there is your name in all capitals. Now, as we all know, we don't write our names like this. It's only found like this on your bills, government documents, and everything like that. That is a legal fiction. That is a corporation that was set up on your name, on your behalf, on the day you were born. It has to do with your birth certificate. You want look into Maritime Admiralty laws, UCC. I mean, it's a whole fucking 6-hour video if I were to go into it, and I honestly just know the surface level of it all. I know it goes back to Rome, and it has to do with your citizenship, taxes. It's linked into everything. It's how they are able to do what they do. It's how your car isn't actually yours. You are just the keeper of it. You register it to a city. That's why if you don't keep plates on it, they can come and take it from you. It's not theft because it's their property. You registered it to them. It's also how they can imprison you, tax you, fee you, fine you, arrest you, because you are representing this corporation, and only corporations can be held accountable in this manner. You're tricked into representing a corporation that has the exact same name as you. It's just in all caps, because corporations are in all caps. They are not in capitals and lowercase like people are. So Sarah Silverman is not even recognized as a person. There's Sarah Silverman, the person, and Sarah Silverman, the corporation. So I wonder, is this an endorsement from the person Sarah Silverman or the corporation Sarah Silverman? Maybe you should have clarified that if corporations are oh so evil.
Bernie is not for sale. This man is running for president on a platform that is just a giant fuck you to the above-the-law billionaire class who have been controlling government policy with their money and not...
You know what's funny is there's actually a billionaire who's running a candidacy that's a giant fuck you to the power and wealth that's been controlling government, and his name is Donald Trump.
Paying a nickel in taxes through government loopholes they secure with said money. Bernie Sanders has probably never paid into taxes himself because he spent most of his life on welfare and having such little money that there wouldn't be anything to tax, but whatever. Running on a platform of overturning Citizens United and making the untouchably rich accountable for their fair share of taxes. You know, so like all of America's children can have good education and health care, not just the rich.
Oh, and like you, because you're part of the 1%. In fact, most people should look into this. If you are close to my age range, I'll be 30 next week. If you are 30 or under and make $150,000 a year, you're in the 1%. So that's a lawyer, a surgeon, again, people we come in contact with on a daily basis. And that's why I hate this phrase, the 1%, because it gives an impression, like people think 1%, and they're like, oh, the millionaires, the billionaires. Not really. That's how big the wealth divide really is that you can make $150K a year, and you're considered the 1%. All of the celebrities are the 1%. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And for some reason, again, celebrities seem exempt from all the criticism. People hate when you criticize celebrities. People hate, when I made my video on Beyonce, so much flack, so much bullshit. You cannot say anything against Beyonce.
Education and health as a right, not a privilege, not charity, as every American citizen's right. So this is where you scream.
I love how it's like, we're robbing people at gunpoint, and then we're going to call it charity.
But he's a socialist! Yeah, he is a socialist Democrat. Now let me explain what that is. He's a Democrat. He just believes that people who don't have the same advantages as you and me should be given the same advantages as you and me. Good Lord, don't worry. Under President Sanders, you can still become a super rich asshole. It's just that your fellow hardworking citizens don't have to feed their children cat food in order for you to do it.
Who's feeding their children cat food? I mean, this is all this is a lot of fluff. You know, I wanted to, and I'm going to order a GoPro this week so I can do some of these videos because my camera has shitty audio. But I wanted to do this video because I'm right near 3 colleges. And I'm going to go to them and get them to sign a petition for the Educational Equality Redistribution Affirmative Whatever Act. And I'm going to basically go to them and say, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a couple GPA points from the top 1% of students and say, 3 to 4 points apiece, and we're going to redistribute them to those that are less advantaged and make it so that no one is capable of failing. There will be a line in which no one can fall under, and anyone with a F or a whatever, we'll boost them up those 3 to 4 points. Now, what you'll notice if you're paying attention to what I'm saying is, if you have a 4.0, that automatically brings you down to a 3.7, I guess. So you are incapable of hitting your maximum potential, because no matter what, the higher you go, the more we will take. So you might as well not aim for doing the best you can do, but aim for doing just a little bit all right. And that's how the tax system works. is it makes it where if you do good and you do the best you can do, you will only be punished for it. And I think there's a problem with that. I agree with if we're going to have a society based on taxes and all this nonsense and bullshit, I think there's better ways to go about it. But I would think we should have a flat tax that, is just, whatever percent, like like crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, I think, if you had a group of people, because here's the thing, and I try to explain this to people, because they're like, oh, well, if you like roads and bridges, you're a socialist. And it's like, first of all, roads and bridges were around way before the income tax or anything like that. And honestly, the people who paid the most amount for the roads and bridges were the rich. It was the business owners, because they were the ones that were going to benefit from shipping their products from one side of the country to the other, or from one part of town to the other part of town. They were the ones that had the most to gain from it, so they were perfectly fine with putting in more money. But if you just go to everyone and you say, oh, hey, we gotta do work on this bridge or whatever, it's going to cost $1,000, let's do some fucking fundraising, raise the money like that. There's no reason to be like, oh, well, we're going to put a fucking road here and we need some money for it, so we're just going to take a third of your paycheck for indefinitely because, we might need to fix the road at some point. Like, and that's why you have so much government waste and corruption, because the well never runs dry.
Like firefighters? Is that something you like to have around? That's socialism. That's a socialized program. It's a program that the government pays for so that everyone can have it. Not anti-American. In fact,
no, it is very anti-American. Like, how fucking dumb is she? Wasn't America set up on rebellion from taxes?
In fact, it's wildly American. So now you say, but is this achievable? It's pie-eyed. It's unrealistic.
Damn right.
A lot of people have said that. And those people are wrong, because...
Oh, tell me why they're wrong, because all the economists who actually study numbers and everything say that this whole idea of free college is completely unfeasible.
Without taking a penny from super PACs, corporations, or special interest groups, Bernie Sanders raised over $100 million from over 5 million individual donations from human people, averaging $27 each. And with
what does that have to do with fucking free college? This bitch just threw me a curveball. How?
Groups, Bernie Sanders, well, it's pie-eyed, it's unrealistic. A lot of people have said that. And those people are wrong, because without taking a penny from super PACs, corporations, or...
Wow, she really just went from, like, saying his ideas of, this healthcare and college and everything else he wants to give away to everyone, and then was like, well, he raised money for campaigning. Yeah, campaigning is one thing, but offering college and healthcare and everything else to everyone else is a whole lot different. And again, you're talking people willingly donating to donating at gunpoint. So, Sarah, I know you're smarter than that. So, I don't like accusing people and like sort of pointing fingers and trying to tell people what their motives are. But you're either dumb or you're misleading, and that's all there is to it.
Groups. Bernie Sanders raised over $100 million from over 5 million individual donations from human people, averaging...
Again, donations implies voluntary, and taxation implies involuntary.
$27 each. And with that...
And maybe that's why it will work, because she's like, if he raised this many millions of dollars and people were willing to do it, imagine what we can do with guns pointed at everyone.
He proved that what is right can also be possible. He's proven that Citizens United is not a necessary evil. It's just evil. Free college for every American, quality health care for every American, raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour,
Did that really say free college and debt-free? So he's going to balance the deficit and do, I mean, this guy must be an economics genius, or there must be a money tree somewhere. Like, how is this plausible? I mean, if it is, I guess I would vote for him, but this is insane, and that's all you can say about it. Like, there's a reason why, if you look through history, you always have the empires. They come up. Greece, Rome, Germany, and, when they start to really get advanced, people get spoiled. And then there are these big economic divides between the people who were the ones, prospering from these spoils of the advanced civilizations and whatnot. And then you always end up where they're like, oh, well, we're in such good shape, we can take care of everyone. Socialism, collapse. And that's how it always happens, because you'll eventually run out of money to steal from people. So I look at the track record. And if for anyone, I say this to people, this is the simplest way to look at it. Please show me where socialism is working, where it's worked, and it's for people to assume America can get it right in the state America is in, and not look at the other factors involved, is no more than American exceptionalism. It's basically thinking that we can take everyone else's bad ideas and we'll be the one to get it right. Because, people will say, oh, well, there's Norway, Denmark, whatever those European socialist countries are, and they're not in great shape. They have really high unemployment rates, and the other thing is they have no immigration. Next to no immigration. They're very selective with who they allow in. Like, you would essentially need Donald Trump's immigration policy to even closely get Bernie Sanders' ideas to work. There's no way in hell you could have no borders and then be like, free college for everyone. Because, I mean, again, you're basically saying we are going to destroy the middle class. We are going to make everyone equally poor, because how could you, I mean, we already have a situation where Chinese women show up by the boatloads to have their babies here. All these other countries come here just to leech off the system. And I know people are going to have a problem with me saying that, but the fact is that you can find that it's advertised in these other countries how to do it. They will say, oh, our healthcare system sucks. There's so much of a burden on it. Go to America. Go to America. You just got to walk in the ER. And, so it's like, let's kick open the doors and let's just give things to everyone, because our middle class can pay for it, because for some reason these delusional people think that the rich people are going to be enslaved. And that's the other point, where people will be like, oh, well, we'll have the 1% pay for it. Yeah, what about when they all leave? Like, they're fucking rich. They can do it. They probably have houses elsewhere. They'll probably just denounce their citizenship, go get citizenship elsewhere in Sweden or Switzerland or something like that, and bye-bye. And then the middle class ends up stuck with all of the burden of this. As usual, this is what goes on each and every time, and it is fucking pie-eyed and hippy-dippy delusions. It's so nuts. I hate Sarah Silverman.
Livable wage. He believes that people who work a 40-hour week shouldn't be below the poverty line. Who could be against that? Oh, I know. U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who has voted against raising the minimum wage 17 times, yet voted...
Because when you raise the minimum wage, then the minimum price of everything will go up with it. See, it's very simple economics, and all of these people have a hard time grasping economics, where if McDonald's is paying people, $7 an hour or $8 an hour, and they're selling burgers at $1 a piece. Basically, they have to sell, eight burgers an hour to afford that worker. Then, you factor in rent, utilities, and so on and so forth. There's the list of taxes and everything employers have to pay. So now you're going to be paying these people $15 an hour. And you know you only sell on average 8 burgers an hour. So then what do you have to do? You have to up the price of the burger. So then these people will end up, I mean, it's so simple. It just goes around like that. Like this is what happens every time we up the minimum wage. It's not like we haven't upped it before. It gets upped all the fucking time. And the prices of everything just keep going up. People say, oh, well, the price of this, when back in my day, this shit was a nickel. Yeah, and it's like, I can show you this. Watch. Purchasing power of dollar. Like, it's so simple. This is all any candidate should be talking about. Look at this shit. This is awful. Bam. That's about to hit zero. We're about to be like the Weinmark Republic, where you're going to have a fucking fistful of dollars for a loaf of bread. It's ridiculous. And with Bernie Sanders in office, oh man, that's going to hit that zero in no time flat. And that's, again, why this is all delusional.
To give himself and his Senate colleagues a raise 6 times. All right, I have a couple final points, and then as Kanye says, I'm gonna let you go. A lot of people will vote for Hillary because they don't think Bernie can win. That is what my shrink would call a self-fulfilling prophecy. All you have to do is look at his track record. He's been on the right side of history every single time. Many of these...
I hate that, and she's said that in another video where this whole, oh, you know, what was it? Oh, yeah, it was about politically incorrect jokes, and it's so funny because I guess bashing Christians every chance you get isn't politically incorrect. That's all cool. But, you know, being like, you know, well, yeah, we should censor ourselves and not make sexist, racist, whatever jokes because, you know, the youth doesn't want it, and the youth are generally on the right side of history. So I just wonder, Sarah Silverman, Jewish last name, were the Hitler youth on the right side of history? Were the people that voted Hitler into office, were they on the right side of history? Just wondering. I mean, so that's a very awful way to look at things as, you know, oh, well, the right side of history. Like, I guess they thought they were at the time.
Stands Bernie took were unpopular at the time. In fact, Hillary voted in direct opposition to every single one. He voted for those things not because someone who funneled money into his campaign asked him to. He voted for those things because he believed they were right, and history has proved him right every time. I want a president with that kind of vision, that kind of foresight, that sense of right and wrong. I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime candidate who genuinely represents the interests of people, not as a stance, but as a core belief, as his guiding principle. All right, that's my spiel. Thanks for hearing me out. And just don't be suckered into a rigged American dream Ponzi scheme that was never intended to include you. Vote. Go with friends. Make it fun. I'm voting for Bernie, but just vote for Bernie.
Now, didn't she say in the beginning that she doesn't care if you vote or not, that she's not your mom? And then at the end she says, just go vote. Just vote. You know, when Kanye West was asking Mark Zuckerberg for $1 million and everything, and he was like, I got this vision, we need to fulfill it, this, and that. And I've tried listening to The Life of Pablo. Awful album. Awful. Kanye's vision obviously left when he married Kim Kardashian, because he was putting out, the last 2 albums before that were decent and kind of innovative, but this is just garbage. But I've realized that Bernie Sanders is to politics what Kanye West is to music. They both have these visions that they want everyone, you know, falling at their feet for them to just sort of spew out and say, you know, when I rebuild the world in my utopian vision, everyone will be wonderful. And then they're like, but I don't know how to handle money, so I'm in lots of debt, and I need everyone else to give me money to fulfill my beautiful vision. And it's awful, and they both need to just shut up and sit down. And Bernie's not going to win. I hate to tell everyone. It's, you know, he's Hillary's wingman, basically, and all he's doing is converting the Democratic Party into a communist party because Hillary is changing her stances based on all of that shit. So there was Sarah Silverman's obnoxious Bernie Sanders endorsement, and I don't know. I'm at a loss of words. I really, really dislike Sarah Silverman, and so I guess that's why I'm covering this, just because there's a part of me that just wants to be able to publicly take some jabs at her and expose her as not knowing about anything, like, and just sort of, and that's the whole Bernie Sanders thing. It's all this hopes and dreams and feel good shit. It's the Obama thing again. A friend of mine who's always been a conservative at one point started buying into this, and it was just the whole, oh well, social policies, his social, he wants everyone to get along, the world's a big playground and all the kids are going to get along and we're going to force them all to be friends and everyone's going to help each other out and share their toys. And it's fucking delusional. And then my friend saw a video of his supporters, and all of them were just like, it was actually the Journey to Bernie video by Stephen Crowder. And he saw that all the people were like, well, I want free this, I want free college, I want free this, free this, free this. And it immediately struck a chord with him, where he was like, these are like the people when Obama got elected being like, I'm not going to have to worry about my mortgage. I'm not going to have to worry about this. Everything's going to be all right. Feel good, feel good, feel good. And that's what it is again. It's a complete emotional fucking thing for the people. Like, obviously not for the fucking productive and rich people. You hate them. So it's again one of these just sort of emotional feel-good campaigns that have no fucking grounding in any sort of logic, reasoning, mathematics, economics, or any of that. So Sarah Silverman and all of her Hollywood buddies, who maybe they don't even see themselves as the 1%. Maybe, that's the crazy part. Is Sarah Silverman okay with handing over a couple mil of her money for, health care and everything like that? And that's the other thing. I don't understand what she would get out of this. I don't understand what any of the celebrities get out of this besides a higher tax rate, because that's all he's going to do. They don't get free college. They could pay for college. They don't get fucking free healthcare. I'm sure they have better private healthcare. And I have a hard time believing that all of these narcissists have just turned so altruistic all of a sudden. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they all have big, liberal, bleeding hearts and they're just swoon with Bernie. So, fuck if I know. Sarah Silverman, fuck you.